American Express is changing one of the biggest travel cards in the country right now, but let's see if it's actually still worth it. But first, let's do a quick gut check before we get into it. Do you know exactly what your actual credit card annual fee is right now? Not what it was when you actually signed up, what it is today. Because here's what's happening across the entire industry right now. Fees are climbing, spending requirements are climbing, and the number of points you need for the same flight is climbing too. And the biggest major travel credit card went from $695 to $895 in a single jump. Another one sitting at $795 after signing up after $450 less than a decade ago. That's just insane if you think about it. So in today's video, I'm breaking down exactly how we got here, who's actually still winning with these cards, and who needs to seriously reconsider what's in their wallet. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now let's start with the receipts. The Amex Platinum has gone $450, then $550, and then $695, and as of late 2025, $895 a year. That's a $200 jump in one move. That's the biggest single increase this card has ever seen. But wait for it, because it's not just Amex. Chase did something almost identical. The Sapphire Reserve launched back in 2016 at a $450 a year with a 100,000 point welcome bonus. Fast forward to 2025, and that same card is now $795 a year. That's a jump of over $300 across its lifetime, and its current welcome bonus has actually gotten bigger. Issuers have been advertising offers as high as 150,000 points for new applicants. And of course, Citi jumped into the game too with their Strata Elite, following the same formula. So the pattern's clear. Every issuer is raising the fee, and every issuer is stacking more credits on top of it to make the increase feel justified, which brings us to the real question: how the model actually works. Here's the part most people never think about. Why would a company raise your fee by $200 and then hand you $1,400 worth of credits? That sounds like they're losing money on you, but they're not. Because here's what people don't understand. A lot of these credits are partially funded by the partner brands themselves. A hotel credit, a dining credit, a rideshare credit. Those partners want access to a high spending customer base, so they help cover the cost of the benefit. On top of that, issuers know a percentage of cardholders simply won't use their credit every single cycle. Some of these credits are structured monthly or quarterly, so if you miss that window, the value is gone, and the issuer never has to pay it out. I mean, it's pretty genius. So the real cost to the issuer after partner funding and unused credits ends up being a fraction of what they're advertising. And it works, of course. Every time one of these issuers rolls out a refresh, their earnings reports show more people signing up, not fewer, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. The annual fee goes up and more people sign up. I mean, we can't even make this stuff up at this point. Now let's talk about what's actually in these refreshes, because it's not all lounges and first class upgrades anymore. The Amex Platinum currently includes up to $600 a year in hotel credit through their Fine Hotels and Resorts program, plus dining credits through their resort reservation partner, on top of the usual travel and rideshare credits. That hotel credit alone, if you actually book 2 qualifying stays, can cover a big chunk of the annual fee itself. Now the Chase Sapphire Reserve now carries an annual travel credit, a hotel credit through its luxury booking platform, dining credits and entertainment perks layered in. But here's the catch though. A lot of these credits are built around specific spending categories. If you don't already spend money in those specific partners, that value on paper does nothing for you in real life. Now, of course, the welcome bonus and point devaluation problem that nobody wants to talk about. Now, let's talk about getting the card in the first place, because this has changed too. The Amex Platinum currently requires $12,000 in spend within the first 6 months to unlock its top welcome offer. And that spend requirement got raised from $8,000 earlier this year. On some business cards, we're seeing spend requirements climb into tens of thousands of dollars, with a few outliers pushing into 6 figures for their top tier bonuses, which is absolutely insane. But when it comes to business, I mean, it can easily be achieved. And at the same time, those points themselves are worth less in real terms. Certain premium cabin redemptions on major airlines have gone up in price by tens of thousands of miles compared to a few years back. So a bonus that looks massive on paper might just be keeping pace with or even losing to devaluation. Bigger number, same or worse actual value. You have to run the math every single time now. Don't just look at the headline number, because you're gonna get caught slipping. I wanna give a special shout out to all my beasters out there that are working hard to fix their credit using DisputeBeast, the most advanced AI credit repair software ever created that comes with a 110% money back guarantee. But specifically to Tanya. Tanya's credit score went up 289 points after just one round with DisputeBeast. And Christian's credit score went up 366 points after just one round with DisputeBeast. And let's not forget about Allison. Allison's credit score went up 204 points after just one round with DisputeBeast. DisputeBeast's link is going to be in the video description and pinned at the top of the comments for anyone that needs to fix their credit. All right, now here's my honest read on this. These cards are not universally good or universally bad. That's the wrong way to think about it. They're good for the right person in the right year. So if you travel enough to actually use the hotel credit, the dining credit, and the lounge access, a premium card can absolutely pay for itself and then some. But if you don't live near the right restaurants, don't stay at the right hotels, or don't travel enough to touch half those credits, you're just handing the issuer $895 for a metal card and a low travel insurance policy you'll probably never use. And here's something people don't consider enough. Your own situation changes year to year. Maybe this year you've got a big trip planned and the card earns its keep. Next year, life gets busy. You don't travel and suddenly you're paying full price for benefits collecting dust. That's a real conversation to have with yourself every single renewal date, not just one that when you first apply. And listen, I'm one of those people to consider because this year I'm not traveling as much and I'm looking at every single one of these credit cards thinking, yo, is it time to close these? Because we might not be using them that much anymore. Last part's the most important. So here's what I want you to do to approach this. Before your next approval date, sit down and actually list which credits you used in the last 12 months and what they're worth to you in real dollars, not what the issuer says they're worth. Compare that number to the fee. If you're not close to breaking even, that's your answer. And there's no shame in stepping down to a lower fee card until your situation changes. This isn't about avoiding premium cards. It's about not paying for a lifestyle that you're not actually living. Hear what I just said there. Not paying for a lifestyle that you're not actually living. Your credit card has to make sense for your lifestyle. It's okay to downgrade and then you can come back. And that's the real story behind these fee hikes. It's not random, it's a calculated strategy, and it works because most people never sit down and do the math. If this broke it down for you, make sure to comment the word breakdown so I know that you're actually paying attention. And don't forget, if you have any collections, charge-offs, or negative items that you need to delete from your credit reports, make sure to watch this video right here because it's gonna show you how AI will do all the work for you, mail your letters, and it comes with the 110% money back guarantee. And if you felt that I brought you some value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score. This credit union will give you a $10,000, $20,000, and even up to a $50,000 credit card even if you have bad credit.